Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Forest Job. It's the beginning of a brand new season here on this series, and we're going to take you through a few of the transfer comings and goings that took place over the closed season. Suffice to say, there's been a lot of movement, but not too much that will change the makeup of the team. You can see there, Ryan Babel has been signed from our youth team on loan by another team. I decided, looking at the transfer activity of other teams, and we can go into the transfer market news just to show you. Looking at the activity of some of the other teams, it I decided, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. So that's exactly what we have done. There's a bunch of teams here that have signed regens, so they're bringing the regens back through the game at this point. And I decided, you know what, let's just take full advantage. So we have signed a bunch of players. Well, we didn't sign a bunch of players from our youth team. I will go into the squad list and I'll tell you exactly what we have done. Uh, we have gone into the youth team. We've marked a bunch of the players as available for loan. And when teams have come in with decent loan bids of, say, £5 million for the season, we've said, yep, go on then. We had a bunch of spare transfer capital and wages left over after we'd done all of our business, and so it just made sense to use those wages to make a little bit of money on the side. The plan is completely that once these players come back from loan, that they're going to end up leaving on a permanent transfer. I'm not going to be using them too often. Um, but let's have a look at the players that we brought in that are going to be staying with us. And the first one is Hlosek. Hlosek? I don't know. I'm going to find out what his first name is, and I'll probably just call him that. He's a Czech Republic winger. He's 21 years old. He's probably something of a wonder kid in most people's saves. You're probably already aware of him. And looking at his stats here, you can see he's just a very, very good winger. He's quick and nippy. He's got excellent jumping and heading ability, which means he can play at centre forward if needed. But most importantly, if you look at his dribbling and his ball control and tight possession, they're on point. His finishing's not too bad. The only thing that really lets him down is his lofted pass. So I'm going to try and train him up so that he can improve that at a quick rate. That being said, though, we don't really cross with our wing forwards. We usually have our wing backs pushing up to put the crosses into the box. So I'm not too worried about his lack of crossing ability. I'm going to be looking for him to cut into the box and get on the end of chances, much in the same way as Joe Lolly and Raul Centurion do for us. So welcome for the grand total of £14.5 million, I think it was, from Sparta Prague. Adam Hlosek, and I'm just going to call him Adam from here on out because I'm probably absolutely butchering his name. Next down, you'll notice that Harry Wilson, who has been on my radar for quite a long time, has finally joined us. He's joined us on I think it's a 2-year deal. Let's just check that. Yeah, a 2-year deal, the same as Adam, and he cost us a little bit more. He cost us 19 million. He's on £56,000 a week, which I don't really mind too much, and he can play pretty much anywhere in midfield or on the wings, and that is a lovely bit of flexibility to have. He is a fantastic free kick taker, and that is something that we've been lacking in this team. And he's a left footer, which for some reason I seem to prefer using left footers on free kicks these days. Don't know why. Couldn't tell you. Never mind. Moving on. Excellent balance. His physical contact's not brilliant, but as a winger, you'd expect him to be blasting past people rather than getting stuck in and battling for the ball. His passing is decent, although not brilliant, but his finishing is where it's at. He's another one of these players that I'm hoping is going to be able to cut in off the wings and get involved. Offensive awareness of 78, that's only going to improve, and Hlosek is very similar. He's on 77, so they should have the mental awareness to get into the box where needed and really help out the centre forward, who this season, of course, is going to be Hernandez. We've already said now that Guerrero has left the team, Hernandez is stepping up. He's going to be our number one striker, although, of course, we do have other options, including Niangbo and Sam Cosgrove, who gives us something a little bit different up front. Okay, moving on. So next on the list is going to be one Santi Cazorla. The more I looked at him, the more I just couldn't turn him down. Yes, he's a regen. Yes, I'm going to be keeping him. Yes, he's going to be playing. I make no apologies. If the other teams are going to start using regens, then so am I. But I held off as long as I could, and now you see they're starting to creep in. But as long as the game allows it, I think it's impendent on us to do everything that we can to build the best teams. So I hope that when PES 2022 comes out, there's going to be an option where you can turn off regens and you can have new gens instead, much like Football Manager. But until they fix that, I think we're stuck with having to just do what we can to build the best team. And if that means bringing in cheap regens that perhaps we can sell on for a good amount of money later, then I'm not going to apologise for that. Texera is back from loan. He's still not looking particularly brilliant defensively. So I've changed his training regimen to defensive fullback. I'm hoping that the increased level of importance put on the defensive aspects of the game in training will help him improve defensively. And I want to see him by the end of the season. I want his ball winning to be at least, should we say, 67, 68. And if his aggression could get up, I'm not too worried about aggression. I think that's overrated for a defender. I think you're better off having a player who can win the ball cleanly than one that can steamroller through someone because he's pissed off. Um, Defensive awareness is 67. I want to see that at least 70 by the end of the season. Otherwise, we might move him on and bring in someone that's got a little bit more potential. That being said, if you look at his potential, we reckon that by the end of his 21st birthday, or the beginning of his 22nd, I should say, he should be somewhere around about the 77, 78 mark. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how he does. But looks like he's going to level out for a little while. I'm hoping that that's not the case. He should improve because we do have him training on a daily basis. Right, we've had an offer for Jack Wilshere. It was only £2 million. I've turned it down because, frankly, we could do with the numbers in midfield and the options, and he might not play much. He didn't play much last season, but I think he's a player that could give us some options if we desperately need them. Next signing is Tom Heaton, another one from the youth team, 16 years old. We all know Tom Heaton. He's rated at 73. I am going to try and loan him out this season because we still have Bamba as a backup, and it's very rare that you lose two goalkeepers to injury at the same time. So Tom Heaton probably going to end up going out on loan, but long term, I am looking at him as a potential backup for Newell. Kabai's still with us. He's really looking like he's going to fall off a cliff any second now. Uh, but he's still decent. He can still do a job in midfield for us. He's not the quickest. In fact, he's probably one of our slowest midfielders, but he does give us options. And his passing ability is really where it's at. If we get a stupid offer for him, I could be tempted, but I'm not going to offer him out myself. And that's it. That's all of the signings that we have made. Now, as for the, if we're going to player status, I think we can possibly, yeah, I think this will do it if we scroll down. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, Ryan Babel was in our youth team. We've sent him to Chicago Fire for about £5 million. Moreno and Albiol, same, pretty much the same. I don't think I'm going to have either of these players come back in and play for us. It's very much a case of getting them out on loan, getting some experience for them, and then we can sell them when they come back. Laurent Koscielny might be a player that we keep hold of when he returns. And the reason for that is that in defence, things are starting to change. If we go into, let's use game plan for now. If we look at McKenna, we can see that he is a reasonable defender, but the problem for him is that he's starting to regress physically, technically. He's starting to lose it. In fact, this is not the right screen for us to go into. So let us go into let's go into negotiations. We can have a look at everything that we need to know from there. Now they're both rated at 74, McKenna and Mbeso. But here's the big differences. Mbeso still improving, obviously. He's only 22 years old at this point. McKenna, on the other hand, has levelled out and he's going to start regressing. So Mbeso is going to be a better player by the end of this season already. And then we actually have a look at the stats and you can see that Mbeso is a little bit quicker. Not by much, but a little bit quicker. Defensively, he's pretty much exactly where McKenna is. He has a height advantage over. Actually, he doesn't have a height advantage over McKenna. That isn't. Oh, that's a massive mistake by me. But he's starting to get there. He's starting to become a player that we could, if we needed to, rely on. He's a better passer of the ball. Looking at his jumping, he's not as good jumping. Roughly similar heading ability, but I think Mbeso might actually be an option for us going forward this season. That's not to say that McKenna won't get game time, but I think Mbeso could be an option, and then we'll have a look at it when Koscielny comes back from loan at the end of this season. But that's the team as it is at the moment. Joe Lolly is still with us, as you will have noticed. We have had offers for him and he might be let go depending on what offers come in for him. Because if we go in again and just have a really quick look at Joe Lolly, first of all, you'll notice he's down at the back end of the squad now, ability-wise. But also, look at that, he's going to tail off terribly. He's still not going to be a bad player, but I don't think he's going to be first choice for much time at all. I really don't think he's going to be a first choice. Probably even in the second half of this season, he's going to fall off quite badly. So today's match is against Sheffield United. It's a home game. We're playing superstar difficulty. But of course, as always, before we get into the first game of the season, we have to have a completely silent team talk. Which again is weird because you can hear his hands clapping there. And if you can hear his hands clapping, why can't you hear his voice? It's very peculiar. I can only think that my video game self is somehow psychic, and you can see him pointing to his temples there. So I think maybe he is psychic indeed. So here we go. Got the players ramped up for this game. We're going to have a look at our options on the bench and on the pitch. So immediately what I'm looking at is whether or not Hlojek can come straight in on the bench. And I think he can, you know. So he's going to come in there. Frimpong has been brought onto the bench as a result of Guerrero's retirement. We're going to throw Wilson onto the bench as well. And let's move this around so that we've got some different options. Yates or Kabayi. Okay, I think that'll do us. It's a horribly weighted bench towards attack, but what the hell? We're going to make sense of this as we go along. There's going to be an awful lot of rotation through the season, I think, because there's a lot of players here that I want to see play football. We finally have a very large squad. So without any further ado, let's kick off. Actually, before that, we will have some ado because I want to make sure that the kits don't clash. That'll do. Okay, now we did have, I'm going to tell you about a few of our failed transfer attempts this transfer window. I noticed that a certain Alan St. Maximan was on the transfer list at Newcastle, and so I went in with a cheeky bid, and unfortunately he didn't see a future at the club, so that one was a bust almost from the get-go. Funnily enough, related to Sheffield United, we also went in for a Mr. Oliver Burke, who a lot of you may know from playing Football Manager and also for his scoring antics against Manchester United in real life recently. He is a very, very good winger on this game, and in real life, to be fair, he's a very good winger. The problem is he doesn't score very much in real life. That being said, he also did not see a future at our club. Now, bearing in mind, this was before the latest rankings were announced, where we were placed in 99th place in world football rankings. Maybe he would see a place in our team now. The problem is that with the signings of Ploshek and Wilson, I think actually we don't need or want him anymore. So he's missed the boat there. And we'll have to see whether or not he continues to improve. There he is on the right-hand side there. It's amazing he can get up to that kind of speed, given the fact that his ears are sticking out that much. They're almost like air brakes. So there's the lineup. So I'm going to hit the start button because you don't need to see this. I'll probably try and change some of the player numbers, the squad numbers, if I can. Problem is, now that the season's kicked off, I'm not sure. I think you can change squad numbers until the end of the transfer window on the game. And the transfer window is not shut yet, so we'll wait and see if anything else. So we're just knocking it around, trying to look for spaces here. Right, and there's one. Arcas trying to exploit down the left-hand side, but the referee's given an offside here, I think. I'm not sure, or it could have been a... Oh, it's a foul off the ball. Okay, because I was going to say, I don't think Arcas was anywhere near the back line. In fact, I don't think he was beyond the midfield. But a free kick has been given, and Willems will take. There's going to be an interesting battle for the left-back spot this season, I think. As Rhian Brewster, another player that we looked at, actually, during the transfer window. I had my sights set on at least one winger and two if we could manage it, because I always felt like we... oh dear, that's not a good pass. Rescued it, though. I always felt like we were lacking a little bit in options on the wing on the left-hand side during last season, so I wanted, if possible, to pick up a player that could play on the left and a player that could play on the right, and if possible I wanted one of those to be able to play either side, just to give us some extra options. Another one through to Arcas. He's going to get onto this one. Into the middle for Hernandez, who can't get to it, but here's Joe Lolly on the volley, and he's put it away. An early goal for Nottingham Forest in the 13th minute, dead on 13 minutes in fact. And it might not have been on the volley, it might have been on the half volley, but Joe Lolly again showing why he continues to be selected for Nottingham Forest. There's real pressure on him this season. But one thing that you can't put a value on, as we see the replay of the goal again, is teamwork, and that is something that he's going to have on his side for a majority of the early going of this season, as the new players bed in and try to get used to their surroundings and the players around them. Joe Lolly hasn't got that issue. He already knows the players around him. Sheffield United immediately on the attack. Here's one in the middle. Worrell gets his head to it, fortunately. Busquets slides in trying to win the ball. Hadji wins it, but unfairly, says the referee, so it's going to be a free kick to United. That was actually a less egregious tackle than the one that Busquets committed earlier, as Newbold takes the ball out of the air with great ease. Just lets it bounce, takes the sting out of it. And now Forest can come forward again. Oh dear. I don't know if that was a good tackle or a terrible pass, but either way, we've got away with it somehow. Lovely from Willems. Couldn't quite find the right pass. Oh, this is beautiful from Nottingham Forest. What a piece of passing play that was. I can hardly believe my eyes. Lovely 1 and 2 touch passing play. And the United goalkeeper keeping them at bay. Willems with the corner, in swinging as always. Centurion underneath it, couldn't quite get there. Arcas, he's going to have a shot from out here, and it's a weak effort in the end. Ramsdale picking up with no real issue and clearing it up the pitch towards Brewster and Bremer. Bremer winning the header, but the second ball falling to Ampadu, who is a centre-back that I've had a look at in the closed season. Brilliant range of passing for a centre-back. And quite the shock of hair as well. He's someone that I'm keeping an eye on. He's on the list. But whatever it is they're doing at Sheffield United, they're doing it well, because every time I've gone in for a player from Sheffield... Oh, Lolly's through here. Can he get the shot away? He can. It's the second goal for Joe Lolly. What a performance by the Forest man today. They say that diamonds are made of pressure, and Lolly has been put on put under, I should say, some pretty intense pressure with the activities of the transfer window. Decent first touch, excellent second touch, and the third touch sent Ramsdale flying. I've forgotten where I was. Apologies if you were hanging on my words there. I doubt you were, but I think I was talking about my list of my transfer shortlist, which included Ampadu and probably will continue to. The problem that we had as Brewster turns, and oh, I thought for a second we were going to fall foul again to another one of those turning shots. And against a player like Ryan Brewster, I wouldn't be too happy to concede that, as Willems brings it forward. No one's really coming to him, so he continues to run. And that is a piss-poor pass from Willems. He manages to bring the ball back under his control just as well. Centurion, his first real involvement in today's proceedings. Arcas into the middle for Hernandez, couldn't quite get to it. Busquets can't control it correctly, and away comes Oliver Burke. And now we'll see the blistering pace which first attracted me to the player, as he hands it off to Berge. Safwik doing a good job there of winning the ball back. And perhaps now Forest can counter. Here's Arcas. Puts one through to Centurion, just about. Hernandez. Lolly lurking for a third there. And that pass, wayward as it is, doesn't matter, because the half-time whistle has blown. And it's been a brilliant first-half performance here from Nottingham Forest. 2 goals for Joe Lolly, who really is the man in possession at the moment in that right wing-forward position. I suspect that we'll see his 2 competitors in this game at some point. But for right now, I'm very, very happy with things as they are going at the moment. It's a patient performance from Nottingham Forest, taking the time on the ball, just waiting for the right opportunity and then going for it. And that is perhaps something that we've not seen enough of in previous seasons from them. Ball forward, Bremer underneath it, wins the header, only gets it as far as Fleck. Ryan Brewster on the turn to Burke. Brilliant save by Newell, who may very well end up with the number 1 shirt this season, figuratively and literally. Right, now here we go, a corner to defend for Nottingham Forest. In it comes from Norwood. Safwik with an excellent towering header. Hernandez couldn't get to it, unfortunately. Now on Norwood, Jan Couto. Out to Fleck. Centurion pushing him back, wins the ball, and away they come. What a bad pass. Well, Hernandez is known for his finishing more than he is his passing. And I think that illustrated the point perfectly, really. Here's Rian Booster. Long... Oh, my word, it's come off the post. Long-range effort. Norwood trying to get it back in. And again, the patient possession of Nottingham Forest in evidence, even in their own penalty area. Lolly couldn't quite get onto that one. Shame, because it was a good pass. Maybe slightly over-peppered. Worrell and Burke competing for the ball. There was only ever going to be one winner there. Joe Lolly's got some time here, takes the shot. Oh, the goalkeeper does well. For a second there, I thought the hat-trick was coming. Look at the space he has here. It's an excellent save. I think we might make the first change, and it's going to be Raul Centurion that makes way. And we're going to bring on Adam Hlošek in his preferred left-wing forward role. We'll see what he can do today. Not going to mess with anything defensively while it's working as well as it is. Willems into the box. Arcas underneath. Here's Lolly on the volley again. Oh, it's another great save. Hlošek back to Hadji. Puts it wide. It was going in, mind you. That one wasn't. Worrell missing out, uncharacteristically. Here's Oliver Burke. Good save by Newble. The confidence it gives your defence when they know they've got a man like Newble behind them cannot be underestimated. Hadji just about finding Arcas. I'll have to be a bit more careful though. Oh, that's lovely from Hlošek. What an introduction. Oh dear, Hadji. Terrible pass by Ionis Hadji. Absolutely awful. Here's Willems. Dinked over the top for Hlošek. Puts it back for Arcas. A little bit wayward, but he gets away with it. Zafwik to Hadji. To Busquets. Now Arcas. Willems. Hlošek making a run, and he's been found. Cross into the box. Couldn't make it stick. And now away comes Ollie Burke again. Looking for Berge on the left-hand side. Finds him. Zafwik in attendance. Can he stop him from finding a cross? No, well, the cross never came. But I think if it had done, there wasn't much that Zafwik could have done about it. Good defending from Zafwik. And as much as I hate to do this while he's on a hat-trick, I think it's time that we get a look at Harry Wilson at right wing forward. Do we make another change while we're at it? Yes, why not? Like for like, since we're doing okay, we're not chasing the game. What we're doing is working, so no need to change the philosophy up front. So Cosgrove is going to have to wait for another chance. The fact that he was bought for so little money, I think he would probably understand the fact that he's not necessarily going to be a first choice player. Although the way that he hit the ground running as Oliver Burke takes it down, and oh, another great save from Newble. And another one. I know Joe Lolly's going to get the man of the match performance, but my goodness, I think Newble is going to be a very close second. Here's Harry Wilson. Dinks it over the top, looking for Hadji. Doesn't find him. But it gets put out of play for a throw-in. We'll get a little bit more of a look at Harry Wilson today. Busquets to Bremer. Now Arcas, he's got men in front of him. Harry Wilson was just offside, I think. Wasn't expecting the pass, in fairness, and I wasn't really expecting it to make it all the way to him. Perhaps the AI knew he was offside and just let him have the ball. Intelligent defending if that's the case. Ramsdale to restart from inside the penalty area, lobs it forward, Worrell underneath it, gets a really good contact on that ball. O'Connell in the left back slot brings it all the way forward. Bremer heads it back to the goalkeeper Newell. If there's one thing I could change about Newell, I would love to be able to stop him hitting those really flat goal kicks. Ooh, Oliver Burke has it again. Inside to McBurney, now to Fleck. Safweet needs to get out there to Lundstrom. Harry Wilson all the way back there defending. Already loving it. And there we go, what a performance. Not only for Nottingham Forest, but specifically for Joe Lolly. He's shown that he can still do it on the day. The players are very happy to have returned with a win in their opening game of the season. And they're just having a quick walk around the stadium to applaud everybody and show their appreciation for the support today. So here are the stats for today's game. You can see that despite the fact that Nottingham Forest bossed possession, it wasn't exactly all their way. Sheffield United very nearly equalling the number of shots on goal, although they only had half the number on target that Forest managed themselves. Newell really doing himself proud today and keeping his team in it when he had to. It's a shame we couldn't see a hat-trick for Lolly, but a brace is more than good enough for a man who, at the beginning of the season, looked like he had been given his number. And there you are, confirmation that Joe Lolly with a 7.5 gets the Man of the Match award. Worrell only given a 4.5. I can't understand why that's happened. And Newell getting a 6.5, which in my mind is a little bit harsh. I think he did more in this game than Raul Centurion did. But there we go. My constant questioning of the AI's scoring scheme once again rears its ugly head. Here's the rest of today's results. And I imagine that those results will put West Bromwich Albion top. Indeed it does, with Liverpool right behind them and Nottingham Forest right behind them. There we go, we're level with Manchester City on goal difference, along with Liverpool, Leicester City and Arsenal just below those. So a good first day at the office in this brand new season. Thank you very much for joining me. Come back next time when I think we'll skip ahead to the first FA Cup tie of the season. But until then, with the news that Kylian Mbappe has won the Europe's Best Player award, I'll bid you a very, very fond farewell until next time. Bye-bye.